Well, hello, John.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to episode 114 of the HooperCast. It's getting old, man.
Getting up there.
We're trucking right along to
Got some commie years going on.
Some what?
Commie and Piccolo.
I thought you were talking about like communists.
I think they're like hundreds of years old, I want to say.
I thought you were like, like he's a dirty commie. Like
That's also been around for a long time.
But you meant like, oh, Piccolo.
Yes.
Oh no. Oh, commie.
I sense some grave evil.
Oh no.
He needs some arthritis meds. You just look at him, you're like, ooh, you're in pain, I know.
Yeah, you look like you hurt.
I know you're in pain right now.
I know. You can't.
This man some muscle relaxers.
Well, this is a little surprise, not really surprise episode, but I said last week on the show that we were going to have Michael Grayson back. Oh, crap, that's going to be a problem. Let me turn that text tone off.
They're calling me.
I said it was going to be we were going to have Michael back, and Dustin had a work conflict tonight, and Michael has the flu, so what
type of flu is it? Do you know? It's like the stomach flu, or
I didn't.
Is it like a?
I didn't take a culture with his mouth, so I'm not too terribly sure. Yeah, but anyway, so I called up our trusty friend John to fill in graciously, as he often does, whenever I need someone to talk to. So thank you, John, for being here.
You're quite welcome.
We're just going to kind of freeform it today. I had a news item in particular I wanted to discuss with you, and I don't have the article in front of me anymore because we're using FaceTime to communicate today. But it was from comicbook.com was the article I actually opened, and it was how do you say it now? The director of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's like Taika Waititi or Waititi, something like Waititi, something, I don't know. Anyway, he was saying, according to him, there are discussions occurring right now about, because we know the Incredible Hulk is going to be in Thor Ragnarok,
right?
Which is really exciting, I think.
Yeah.
And so they've
essentially removed the two most powerful characters from Civil War this way.
Yes. The two people who would make
a huge difference.
Yeah, who would make a significant difference. Yes, stack the teams, as it were.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he says that right now there's a discussion going on about how verbal and conscious to make the Hulk. Because as we've seen throughout the progression of I don't want to include Ang Lee's Hulk, but if you really do look at just the Hulk on screen, but especially the Hulk within the MCU, you see a Bruce Banner who is becoming more and more in control of his actions while he's the Hulk, when he willingly transforms into the Hulk. And so and we've seen him speak twice, actually. Most recently in the Avengers, when he slams Loki around and calls him a puny god. And so the discussion currently is...
He also said Hulk smash.
He said Hulk smash.
Was that the other instance?
Yes.
Okay.
And but you could argue that doesn't quite count, because that could just be considered a callback to the TV show or the comic book. But with him saying puny god, he's articulating an insult, and it,
right.
If I'm to break it down, it shows a lot more functionality, and it's non-referential. So the question now, of course, is, do we give him like a limited vocabulary? Do we have him articulate, like, how far do we go with his verbal skills, and how far do we go with his consciousness? I mean, can he sign his name as the Hulk? You know what I mean? Like, just little things like that. Like,
cashing checks.
Yeah. Well, and if you look at the Hulk, I mean, I would consider him like the way I always felt about the Hulk. I'll let you speak in a second. I'm sorry I'm going so long. It just occurred to me, though, the Hulk, especially now I have a toddler, is I've noticed a lot with the movement of the Incredible Hulk and just his basic behavior. It's very animal-like, and thusly it's very young human being-like, where it's just, the temper tantrum-y kind of movements he displays and his body language and all that. Like, my daughter does that a lot. And so I sort of wonder, like, this is the next logical step, is to have him have a small vocabulary and have a little bit more awareness of what's actually going on, other than just breaking and smashing things.
Right.
And so I don't know I would be excited to see that, but I also think they ought to tread softly. They can't have him like doing a crossword puzzle or anything.
Right.
But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it would be jarring to see him speaking in complete sentences kind of out of nowhere, because this will be the first time that you see him since Age of Ultron, so it can't feel too different from that. But I like the idea of him talking a little bit more, and there was a period of time in the comics where he was basically Bruce Banner as the Hulk, and he could basically function as a normal person while transformed into the Hulk. So maybe they're moving towards that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I know that the director has said that he basically wants to make this like midnight run with Thor and the Hulk. So I don't know that there would be a way to really do that without having him speak a little bit. So
what does he mean by that?
Have you ever seen Midnight Run?
No, I don't even know what the plot is.
Midnight Run is basically Robert De Niro is tasked with escorting Charles Grodin. I think it's been a while since I've seen it, but Robert De Niro is I think maybe like a bounty hunter, and he picks up Charles Grodin, who's like I forget, he's like a criminal or something, and he has to transport him across the United States as his prisoner in a certain amount of time to get him to this certain place. And it's kind of like it's like a buddy comedy in a way, because they start off as enemies and then eventually they become close, and it's like a comedy film really, but it's like these two people who wouldn't get along or suddenly kind of put into this situation where they have to work together, and I believe that there's someone else chasing them also, trying to get Charles Grodin, if I remember correctly. But it's been years since I've seen it. But it's an interesting idea for the Hulk and Thor and really this movie. So, and again, it kind of ties in with Marvel doing more targeted genre films and things like that. So
right,
yeah.
So you're in favor of a more verbal Hulk then?
Yeah, if used sparingly.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be able to communicate, extremely well. I still want it to be the Hulk and not the comics version of Bruce Banner as the Hulk.
Yeah.
Not that I would be opposed to seeing that eventually, but I think at this time he's better just kind of as the Hulk. But I'd be open to seeing him, communicate a little bit more. I think they've been moving to that since the first Avengers. So
yeah, and I agree, because the comics Hulk is like full sentences without definite articles and stuff, without like the or a, but pretty much functionally verbal. Yeah.
I think we saw that in Age of Ultron, where, like you said, he's kind of more in control with what he does. Like, he's able to kind of stop and let Black Widow calm him down, and I think he's obviously able to pilot a ship while transformed into the Hulk. So it's no longer just thrashing about like we saw in the helicarrier in the first Avengers. But he's kind of more in control. If he's not always able to control whether he transforms, once he transforms, it seems like for the most part he's gotten a handle on doing kind of more mundane things as the Hulk. So.
Well, yeah, and I guess for me it's I don't really care how much he says. I don't care if he says nothing. But for me, it's not so much about words and vocabulary as it is about the level of control. I do think he ought to be able to exercise more control over it. So, Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I wonder how he gets to Asgard, or at least to outer space.
This is kind of good, the wild card in Phase 3, I think. The biggest question mark, but
yeah,
I think it's the film in Phase 3 that I'm most excited for, though. At the same time, so
yeah. Well, and here it's a double. No, it's not really a double-edged sword, but let's call it like a soft double-edged sword, where it's the biggest question in Phase 3. But if you really think about it, we only know he's in it because we read the trades. Like, it's not like the stinger is Bruce Banner wakes up and, Heimdall says, like, welcome to Asgard. And you're like, what? Like, it's
not yet.
It's just like, it's just been announced that he's in it. And so for me, it's just like, I'm excited for it, but I also feel like they didn't really earn my excitement, because it's a press release that told me this information,
Sure.
Yeah, though, I mean, so you're thinking that's the most anticipated Phase 3 for you?
I think for me, yeah, because I think that this is going to tie into the larger universe in a way that some of the other films aren't. Like, after I saw Age of Ultron, this became the film that I was the most excited for.
I know what you mean, because now you're more interested in the overall plot with the stones and with Thanos and the cosmos more than what's going on with the characters on Earth. Even though that is interesting stuff, and obviously looking forward to Civil War in May. But
and Black Panther and
but I agree. I'm a little more curious about this, especially because I feel like Thor, was one of the characters in the Avengers films both times who kind of got shafted in terms of like development and time, and even in his own sequel, kind of, And this director of Ragnarok even said, like, because I think someone else in the interview brought up that concept to him, that like Thor is kind of gets the short end of the stick when it comes down to cutting scenes, and he said, "No, I know, and I want him to really be the most interesting character. I want Thor to be the most interesting character in this movie."
Which is good.
Exactly. That's what I want to hear from the director of that film.
Because I think Thor is my favorite of the characters in the MCU. I think Thor is probably my favorite one.
It's tough for me to pick.
Right there, Steve Rogers as my favorite, but
I've got them. I really like them all. I mean, I obviously like
them all too. Yeah,
there's
not a bad one in the bunch.
I mean, I to be honest, I'm least interested in Black Widow, and that's not really anyone's fault but the writers, I suppose. I mean, I mean, it's not really her fault. She has no powers and all that, and neither does Hawkeye. But you know what went a long way for me, honestly, was the farm stuff, the farm scene from Ultron, because all of a sudden I just felt like I knew who he was, and I was 100 times more interested in his character and 100 times more invested in what happened to him. After learning he had a family and he was like pretty much like a middle America, essentially blue collar dude who just happens to be a government, spy.
Right. And he got shafted in the first Avengers.
He really did. And I obviously I like Stark, although they need to. It's good that they're doing something different with him for Civil War, like making him kind of the bad guy, but his arc is sort of all over the place overall. Like, he needs to. Again, they're doing something with him now, but I know that Dustin's big problem with Tony Stark is that he does what he does out of guilt, which is not in and of itself a bad motivation, but after a while you need to give him some other reason to be. And you can't just have him every single time kind of be like the tortured smartass, You gotta give him something else. But no, I really like Steve Rogers too, and I like Thor. I just wish he had more to do in a more central role. Yeah. So maybe this will be it. It'll be nice.
I mean, I think the first Thor movie is one of my favorite films in the MCU. And the second one is not my favorite, but every time I watch it, I like it better than I did. So, this one, I don't know. It seems like it's going to go to a place that none of these other MCU movies have gone to yet. And I've heard it's like a road movie, so that sounds interesting to me. Kind of a cosmic road movie sounds fun. So, Yeah, and like I said, it's going to play into that Infinity Stones, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm excited for it. So
Yeah.
and I like that Marvel picked. Marvel has a really good knack for picking these directors who you wouldn't expect or think of. So I'm excited to see what this guy can bring to the table, because they have a really good track record of picking directors that are kind of niche directors, or directors that have never done a movie like this, or even a movie to begin with. So, I'm excited to see kind of what a new director brings to Thor. So,
yeah.
Hopefully it's more in line, because I felt like the second film was a little bit out of tone with the first film. But hopefully they kind of course correct that. But that was one of my major issues with the second film. But
Yeah, and Malekith.
And Malekith, yeah. He was pretty terrible. I think he's the worst MCU villain.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Yeah.
He's unquestionably bad.
Yeah.
I thought that Chris Pratt had done something about with. I know that Guardians 2 is shooting right now.
Yeah.
In
Atlanta.
Yeah, in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So who knows what'll be on that in that little basket of goodies.
Yeah. I'm curious which two films these the remaining Infinity Stones will pop up in.
It's gonna have to be Ragnarok and Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like you need to put Doctor Strange for sure. Because do you remember which two stones are left?
Oh gosh. Well, I think we've seen the Power Stone. I think we've seen the Reality Stone, the Time Stone, and the Mind Stone. So I think there's the Soul Stone left.
I
don't remember.
And then there's
the Time Stone is the other one.
I thought you already said the Time Stone.
Did I?
You may have said it, but I don't think we've seen it yet.
No, I think that's one of the ones we haven't seen yet.
Right. So the Soul Stone. Yeah. So I wonder.
Time.
So I'm wondering if the Soul is going to be much more of Thor kind of stuff.
It could be in Guardians of the Galaxy too,
but possibly really. I mean, I don't know what the Soul Stone really does or can do, but to me that seems like a concept kind of linked, sort of a little bit to the Hulk being in that movie. You imagine what would happen if the Incredible Hulk was holding the Soul Stone, like what it does to a person who essentially has two identities.
Right.
I don't know.
It could be in Guardians because Adam Warlock came from the Soul Stone. He lived in the Soul Stone, and I think he's going to be in Guardians too.
Who the hell is Adam Warlock?
Adam Warlock is he was seen in the Collector's space. He was that giant cocoon that was in one of the. But he plays a really important part in the Infinity Gauntlet comic. He's kind of like one of the bigger characters in that. So, but he came from the Soul Stone. He used to live in it.
Oh.
I don't know if they'll go that route in the film, but I think they basically confirmed that Adam Warlock is going to be in Guardians 2, I think, but I don't know. They
should have him played by David Blaine.
That would be amazing.
Just pop up and be like, hello.
I like how his first name's Adam.
Yeah.
He's from space.
Yeah.
It's your last name is Warlock. I'm Adam.
It's not Glebe Warlock.
Ben Solo.
Yeah, Ben.
It's kind of like that.
Why'd you pick?
Just kind of a normal name.
Yeah. So your last name's Solo. Why'd you choose the name Ben for your son? Well, we're Jewish, so we thought that naming him after Benjamin would be quite meaningful. Adam Warlock. Jim Warlock.
Yeah, that was his father, Mr. Warlock.
Yeah, that's interesting. It'll be good. It'll be interesting. We got 2 this year, right? We got Civil War and we got Doctor Strange.
Right. I think we have 2 from now until eternity, I think they're doing 2 a year every year.
Oh. Okay, yeah, you're right. Now until eternity.
I think next year is Black Panther and Doctor Strange.
No, I thought Doctor Strange was this November.
Not Doctor Strange, I'm sorry. Spider-Man.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Ragnarok is a couple years from now, right?
Yeah, because Ragnarok got pushed because of Spider-Man.
Got it.
Pushed back.
Interesting.
So I think next year is Black Panther and Spider-Man, and then after that is Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and
probably
then Ragnarok.
Thor, yeah.
And then somewhere in there is Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and the Wasp. They both take place, I think, before. No, I think actually Captain Marvel is after the first Infinity War movie.
Here, let me take a look. So May 6th, this year's Captain America Civil War, then Doctor Strange is November, and then in 2017 we have 3 movies. We have Guardians of the Galaxy,
okay,
Spider-Man, and Ragnarok.
Wow, I thought Black Panther was much earlier than that.
No, Black Panther is in February 2018.
Okay.
So it's about 4 months after Thor.
Okay.
And then in 2018 there's Black Panther, and then there's Infinity War Part 1.
Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
And then in 2019 there's Captain Marvel, Infinity War Part 2, and Inhumans.
Right. Okay.
And that's all that's been really announced at this point.
Right.
So that's a lot of stuff. Now, I tangentially related to this, there was I think Bob Iger came out and essentially said what everybody was already thinking, which was yes, we're going to keep making. We're not going to stop making Marvel movies or Star Wars movies. We being Disney. And not we being like him and his son or something.
Father-son production company.
And by the way, on that note, we're never going to stop making Teletubbies movies, and we're never going to stop making Power Ranger movies. I'll just whatever properties I want. But we Disney will not be making anything less than more Star Wars and Marvel movies. And I guess we don't have to talk about it too long because it's kind of a dead point. Because again, it's kind of like, okay, I know,
right?
But
shocker.
But there are people who are totally like put off by that, as if like commercialism is the death of art.
Right.
And it's not. It's just a separate element of it. It's a pendulum. You can indulge more on the commercial side or more on the artistic side, and you can hit that kind of this perfect mix that the Marvel movies hit, where it's probably a little bit more commercial than artistic, but it does have artistic integrity, and it hits just the right amount of it to where they're good films without being while being broad enough for a wide audience.
Right.
And for anyone to take issue with Bob Iger essentially saying, yeah, well, why do you think we bought these properties? We want to make movies with them. Like, dilly.
And like we were talking about Adam Warlock. I mean, eventually they could make an Adam Warlock movie.
Yeah.
And they have literally so many characters to choose from that they could have, dozens of films based on these lesser known characters. And if they're good, people will still go see them. I mean, something like Ant-Man or Thor or even Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, those were all considered kind of iffy properties at one time, and now, they're all huge hits. So,
yeah, super popular.
So really they have so many characters that were once kind of considered B and C lister characters that could, in fact, kind of step into that blockbuster mold. And so, it makes perfect sense that they continue doing it. And these comics have been going for decades, so why can't the movies?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, let me just take care of some quick business real quick. I would like to just remind everyone that this episode of the HooperCast is brought to you by Letterboxd. Right now, listeners of our show have the chance to win a free 1-year pro account upgrade or extension on Letterboxd. John, do you know what Letterboxd is?
I do.
Good. But for those who don't know, Letterboxd is a social network for movie lovers that lets you track, rate, and review the films you watch. You can follow other members and get recommendations for the movies they like. You can publish lists of films and a lot more stuff. What's great about Letterboxd is it's free to use, but a pro account provides additional features such as a customized summary of your past year's viewing. So if you want to get a 1-year pro account upgrade, or if you already got a pro account but you'd like a year without paying the premium for it, you can actually email our... Sorry, I hit the mic there again. You can actually email our show at HooperCast@gmail.com for your chance to win. So just listen to the show, and to figure out what the month's code word is. The code word for February is Paul, as in Paul Walker, Paul Rudd, all the Pauls we mentioned in last week's episode. The keyword, again, the code word, Paul Warlock, his brother. Yeah. The code word for February is Paul. So just email hoopercast@gmail.com, type the word Paul in the subject line, and please include your Letterboxd username, because otherwise I can't even consider you for the upgrade because I only know your real name. So just follow the instructions, please, if you'd like to be qualified. We select the winner at the end of each month. As you know, if you listen to the show last week, what's his name? Tom Cassidy. Holy shit, I just grabbed that right in my head. I remember that guy's name without reading anything. Congratulations, Tom Cassidy. You are stuck somewhere in my brain and you will never, ever leave. I'll never let you go. Yeah, Tom Cassidy was the premier winner, the January winner of this Letterboxd promotional giveaway. And so if you want to be like Tom, email us with the code word and your info, and you could be eligible to be the February winner. And we will read that winner at the end of the month. You can also follow our show on Letterboxd. Just search for HooperCast, letterboxd.com, letterboxd.com. So that's Letterboxd. For those of y'all who, who didn't know, now you know. Dude.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. I was trying to find a tasteful way to finish the Biggie Smalls lyric, and there was not one. There wasn't one at all. John, let's talk real quick about what's coming out, or what's in theaters now. What is coming out, today is Friday or beyond, reminder. So, in theaters...
Hail Caesar.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would feel like our choice... between our choice among the movies being The Choice, Hail Caesar, Einstein and Guanajuato, whatever. I'm not going to see that movie just because it's so hard to pronounce. Or Regression, or Tumbledown. I would definitely say that Hail Caesar is probably our pick this week, right, John?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I don't know what any of these other ones are about, but I know they're not directed by the Coen brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Are you going to go see it this weekend?
And it stars Thanos.
It does star Thanos.
Yes. I think I will go see it this weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've got some gift cards that I would like to expend, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to go see. I'm really thinking about going to see Deadpool in a couple of weeks. I'm really thinking about using that thing and just going on Saturday or something. Not this,
right.
But this Saturday it comes out. I really think that will be a good theater movie.
Sure.
I keep hitting the mic. What else was I going to say? In preparation for our list, our best of 2015 list, I'm going through the whole year. I'm really trying to track down and watch every movie from the year that I really had any interest in. So far I've among the ones I'd seen all year, the ones I rented to catch up on. I rented The Kingsman, but I don't even know if that's from 2015, is it? That probably.
I think it is.
It is? Like from early? Yeah. Okay, well.
Early, like February 2015, I think.
Yeah, I watched The Kingsman, and then I watched Mission Impossible Rogue Nation today.
Okay.
So I'm, that's from obviously later in the year, but I'm going through month by month, and I'm just saying, all right, which ones I got going? So,
sure.
Yeah, man.
Dope.
Anyways, I don't know what the show's going to be next week. For anyone who cares about me accurately telling you what's on the agenda, there's no agenda. Dustin will be back maybe Michael, maybe John. Who knows? Don't even know. Don't know. But John, it was good to have you, as always.
Well, thank you. It was nice to be included.
We'll keep this one short this week. Save a few things. Dustin and I want to talk some DC film news at some point soon because they're rolling out all their stuff and it just looks terrible. So I've got to pick Dustin's brain about that. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Thank you, John, for participating. And see you guys later.
Bye.
Woo!